I liked it a lot. It has its moments of stretching credulity, but other than that, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, in
It's
this, I guess we're just may have to get used to that. Yeah, stretching of yeah, just you got to suspend some belief a little bit.
Welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis,
I'm Michael.
and we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. So the topics on this show range from theology, masculinity, movies, philosophy, books, pop culture, and many other subjects. We often talk about the people we admire and the wisdom that they share, people such as Jordan B. Peterson, who we believe is the sage of our time. Michael, why are we here?
Today we're talking about Sisu. Sisu.
Sisu.
The Finnish film that that came out. It's probably 2 weeks out. But
2 weeks out. Yeah.
It's not to put a time frame on it because this come out a little bit later. But
it's a foreign film, but I don't believe if it was dubbed really well, because I didn't notice that it was dubbed. You said that you thought that it
yeah, it just
sounded
seemed like there
dubbed.
were I want to say there was a couple times that I thought maybe it wasn't quite, but the lips might have not quite been on.
Mm-hmm.
And I read something after watching it because I kind of looked it up, and I read something that some of it was in another language. Now, some every once in a while you see it where somebody does speak in a different language and it does have subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a lot. It's pretty slim, but watching it, I thought that there were times, and I mean, I could be wrong. It could have been movie
Mm-hmm.
theater sound. I don't know, but I thought that there was times that it wasn't quite on with the mouths. And my
Mm-hmm.
buddy that I went and saw it with made the comment that it could be that they spent a little bit of money on just doing a little bit of CG, not, I guess it would be CGI to kind of match that sound. And
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that,
It's
but
a it's a
I was like, I guess it's possible.
it's a
So
low budget film, so I don't know how much they would
I
have put towards that.
doubt that. Yeah, I doubt that that would have been a thing. But there were some pretty obvious times when they were speaking English, and actually it was English.
So
So
why don't we give our overall thoughts on what we thought about it, and then we can do a spoiler section at the end of this.
yeah. So we do like 15-20 minutes of just kind of talking about it, and then spoilers at the end. So I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I mean, just hands down, I liked it.
It's very simple. It's a very simple story. Basically, a guy is digging for gold in Finland. He finds a bunch of it. He runs into, it's at the end of World War II. The Germans are losing, so they have a lot of rogue platoons kind of all over Finland, and they're just ravaging the country. And he comes across one of these rogue, convoys. It's a convoy of, like maybe 50 guys. He comes across them, and they try to steal his gold, and then the carnage starts. They don't know who they messed with. Essentially, he's way older than everybody else. He's probably in his mid 60s, and all he's got is a dog and a horse and a bunch of gold, and they steal it from him, and then he just kind of
or they were going to steal it from him. I mean, they do get it,
eventually.
But anyway, not to get into spoilers, but I would say it basically, if you watch the trailer is pretty, like, don't think you're getting more, like, a lot more than the trailer gives you, because that's basically what you're getting.
There was one big surprise for me, and we can get into spoilers for that. But
yeah,
there's no surprises to this movie. I mean, it's like what you see in the trailer is what you get in the trailer. You're
Yeah.
not getting anything. It's beautifully shot. The
Mm.
countryside of Finland they have some shots in this. They're just breathtaking. It's well acted.
One thing is, a lot of people are saying it's, John Wick, but he's killing Nazis, and that's not really this show. This movie is more, it's slower paced. In fact, it started out with kind of this slow burn that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually enjoyed. I was
yeah,
actually, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, actually. And I was
yeah,
just like, huh, okay, this is kind of
yeah,
cool. Um, uh, and uh, and basically, and a lot of people point to Quentin Tarantino. It's set up in chapters, which
a
I thought
lot.
was really cool.
Yeah, a lot like Inglourious Basterds and The Hateful Eight. They're both set up
Yeah,
in chapters.
I didn't think Quentin Tarantino. I actually, it made me think of like a Western. When the chapter things would come up, for some weird reason, I just thought Western.
Yeah,
But
like
not that I've seen a Western that did that. It
well,
just kind
that's
of felt
because
Westerny.
well, it's got its uh claws into like Sergio Leone movies, like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly,
Mhm.
and A Fistful of Dollars, and those are actually inspirations for Quentin Tarantino. So
Right.
Tarantino's ripping them off, and everybody goes, once this movie does it, everybody goes, "Oh, this movie's ripping off Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino," and it's like,
Yeah, Quentin
no,
Tarantino, and
it's
then they're like,
Quentin
"Well,
Tarantino ripped it off
we went
from
to the
somewhere
source
else.
material."
Yeah, yeah,
So-
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and uh, um, I should say I liked it a lot. It has its moments of stretching credulity, but other than that, yeah, I liked it.
yeah, I mean, in
It's
this, I guess we're just may have to get used to that. Yeah, stretching of yeah, just you got to suspend some belief a little bit.
mhm.
Some things happen, and you're kind of like,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know about
sure,
that. Yeah.
okay, whatever, but which I guess it wouldn't have been as fitting in this because set in World War II and things like that. But with the views and everything like that, it did kind of feel like graphic novel-y, which I thought was kind of neat. It was like old, like a cross between uh like an old cowboy movie, 70s,
Mhm.
60s, 70s cowboy movie, but then also like a graphic novel with all the kind of over the top blown heads up and blown up bodies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
um
that a graphic novel would probably produce, like a graphic novel from the 80s or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that. There's almost no character work, but you have moments of real intense, uh, well acted stuff. And like I said for the trailer, for the trailer breakdown, I've never seen any of these actors except for the guy who plays the main German villain, or
uh
the German
I
officer.
don't know if you see what you've seen him from, but one thing I wanted to say was with that uh character development, it's very different. There's not a lot of like, let's sit down and
Mm,
talk about
it's all visual.
like who I am and
Hmm.
where I come
Hmm.
from and all these things, right? None of that. You're filling in the holes,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like
Well, it's visual storytelling to its core. It's
yeah,
almost plays like a silent movie. So for like, what is it, the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's almost a
you
silent film. I mean,
yeah, you basically
yeah,
don't hear much talking at
there's
all. Yeah.
no
Yeah.
talking, and it relies heavily on visuals. So there's a moment where he's touching his ring,
Yeah.
his wedding ring, so you know that he's thinking of a life that he had before.
Right.
There's a moment where the German officer tells one of his cronies, don't shoot him. He's going to his death. He says it in that many words, but it's not. But the acting is done well enough that you get that this German has been through a lot of shit himself, and everybody's got scars and everybody's dirty.
Yeah.
So you get the idea that there's way more to the story than what we're currently seeing.
Yeah.
So, should we just get into spoilers right now then?
Before we get into spoilers, I could talk about, they call him, this isn't really a spoiler. So,
okay.
They call him a name that he has like a past with being a soul commando. Is that the right word? Where
like a mercenary kind of.
I don't think that was quite right. Basically, they just would release him out on the enemy, and he would just kind of go do his own thing.
Yeah.
And on the Soviets, on the Russians,
yeah.
And so that's where the history is that he at some point, because I mean, until the history buffs can correct me, but I'm pretty sure until the Nazis attacked Russia, they were allies for a minute there.
Yes.
Or it could have been prior things when
the Germans and the Russians Russia
fought a lot of wars that, Russia's always kind of gotten its hands dirty in a bunch of stuff, just like America. Anyway, but they called him I'm probably mispronouncing this, but Koshi, which is Russian for the immortal, or, which I like better, the deathless. And so anyway, and it's kind of an old Russian kind of folk tale, almost a little bit like in John Wick, the Bobo Yaga.
Yeah, the
boogeyman, and in Russian, and then this is kind of similar, but the immortal kind of thing, which I thought was interesting. And so just a little bit there, but
yeah, and they talk about that. They talk about him being like the deathless, like he just won't die. Well, and that's where the SISU comes in. So SISU is a unique Finnish concept. It is a Finnish term that can only be roughly translated into English as strength of will, determination, perseverance, and acting rationally in the face of adversity. So that comes up at the very beginning of the movie. It basically states what this is, and basically the main character is the embodiment of that concept, of just going and going. And so we're getting a lot of these movies. Like, we just did our Super Mario review, and he does the same thing. Mario doesn't quit, right? And then we got this movie where they're basically
beat down, get back up, beat down, get back up,
beat down, get back up. That sort of thing. It's just really, I think the reason that that's coming out a lot is because I think society right now needs to hear that, because of everybody's lives were kind of upended by COVID, and not everybody was affected by it the same. Some people were affected by it differently or worse. And what our pop culture needs right now is this determination stuff. People need to hear this this message of perseverance, of going beyond what you think you're capable of doing. And that really spoke to me in this movie. So
yeah.
Should we get into spoilers?
Let's get into spoilers. You've been warned.
Yeah, this is our spoiler section. You have been warned. Okay. The biggest shock to me in this movie was when he goes into the minefield and the horse blows up.
Oh yeah.
I just
It's
about
like
lost
horses
my
can die, dogs cannot.
horses can die, dogs cannot. It was so out there. Like I just was not expecting that at all. That was the
Yeah,
first unexpected thing that happened.
that his horse just gets blown up, which
Yeah.
I mean
Well, and
it's
it says something about the character too, because he's kind of distraught over it. It's like
yeah, you
he's
see
hurt
it.
by it.
You
Yeah.
see it. In fact, I thought that it would have been, because as you watch it, it basically boils down to that they take his gold and he wants his gold back, and
Yeah.
that's kind of
And
it.
he
I
destroys them
feel
for
like
doing it.
I kind
I
of
feel
feel
like
like
it's
there
more
would
of a
have been
revenge for the horse.
I feel well I feel like there should have been a moment where he had the gold and he could have walked away, and I think it would have been nice to like have seen it where
Oh,
he knew the girls were there
oh
and they were
yeah.
being held with
Against their will.
against their will and stuff, and then he got the gold and he could like walk away. I think there would have been it would have been kind of cool to have a little scene where he had the gold, could walk away with it, but then
And
decides
it
to,
decides
nah,
to, nah,
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
kill
help.
all
I'm
these.
gonna kill all these bastards.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
just gonna kill them all.
yeah,
So
that would have been nice, but I'll tell you what I thought was really great. When he gets into the back of the truck that has all the girls,
yeah,
these girls, you know, for people who've watched it, you know that these girls have been abused by these Nazis. Like they
yeah,
don't show anything, nothing's really graphic, but they
you
imply
know,
heavily
yeah, they imply, yeah,
that these women have been abused by the Nazis. What's so great is it's a slow motion. He looks at the main Nazi, or the main girl, the one that has all the lines, and he picks up a gun and he hands it to her, and it's slow motion. It takes its time, and they lock eyes like they know what is going to happen, and he takes and he kind of moves,
and
and
he's
it
got all,
shows that he's got all these guns on his
he
shoulder,
gives them all to
and
the
he gives
girls,
them all to the girls. And the next scene, they are just shooting the
shooting up,
shit out of the Nazis. They're just wiping them out.
pull up. They pull up next to. There's all the not a bunch of Nazis sit in the back of a truck, and they pull up
Drinking. They're all
next,
drinking and they're all driving.
pull up the canvas, and just shoot them all.
Yeah, the girls just
It was pretty cool. It
blow
was
their heads
good.
off. And
Yeah.
that was an awesome moment. That was
One thing I
great
noticed.
moment.
Did you notice this? I think he in the first fight scene he kills one of the guys with his own gun. That's the only time he uses a gun, right?
No, he uses it on the motorcycle as well.
Oh, okay. He shoots the gun at the plane.
He uses
the
the guns in here and there. Like it's
I just thought it was it. I was just like, why doesn't he have a gun and shoot him up too? But I guess it was just a little bit less his MO.
yeah,
His
because he has
pickaxe gets used a lot.
Gets used a lot. A knife
Knife
gets used a lot.
Yeah, we just talked a little bit about suspension of belief a little bit, but like he's in water and the Nazis are coming down to come get him, and he just grabs them and slits their throat and breathes their air while he's underwater. I'm just like, I don't think that's how it works.
I thought it was kind of clever. I thought
it was cool.
So there's
cool.
There's little different things that are very clever from this movie that I liked, but I also realize it stretches credulity because the entire scene with the plane, it stretches credulity because it's almost all CGI.
Let me just stick my pickaxe in this and then I'll be able to
that'll rip
cut my way
through. And those World War II planes were famous for being very flimsy. They weren't like made of like heavy steel because they had to make them light, so they were made out of like aluminum. So it's
Yeah.
not too far fetched, but there's moments where the whole plane sequence is stretches belief because it's all CGI. If they had done it for real, which they have done those kind of stunts for real in the past, then maybe it wouldn't seem as fake. But
yeah, I mean,
that's not what this movie is trying to do. This movie is way over the top. It starts out, it felt like it started out really real at the beginning, and then by the end, it's just completely. He's like the Road Runner, like he
just
died. And it just not the Road Runner. What is it? Wile E. Coyote. Wile E. Coyote can't die because he like falls to his
blown
death
up and everything,
and then he walks away.
Comes back, keeps
So
coming back.
It's very cartoony. I still liked it though.
I think I was mostly surprised that he didn't talk
until the end.
The whole thing.
He has what, 5 lines at the end?
Not even that. He just says
it's like 4 lines.
He just dumps down.
He walks into a bank. He dumps all of his gold on the table and he goes, I want big bills.
I want big bills. This shit is too damn heavy to carry.
Shit is too damn heavy to carry. And that's the end. That's the end of the movie.
I loved it. I laughed so hard.
It's the first line that he says in the whole movie. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Those are the only words he says in the movie. He just wants his fucking money. Just give him his money.
It's so great. It was so.
I thought it was great. So there were some neat things. I liked how they did the chapters. I liked how they didn't say anything, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier when we were doing non-spoilers, but like he touches his ring and there's a point where he like falls asleep and they're children and he's like hearing some so there's definitely some past stuff that's gone on. You said that when he touches his ring that it's obvious that there's a dead spouse somewhere
in the picture.
But maybe the spouse is not dead. We don't know, but could it be that his determination? See, I thought it was kind of weird. It was a little weird to me that this guy that is robust and just kind of just could kind of just be determined to do anything, wanted that gold so bad, right? And it makes me wonder if there might be a story behind the story, right? And if this makes enough money, there might be sequels or prequels that come out of it.
I can't imagine it. I was in a theater by myself, which is actually the best viewing experience. because I think
it's fun seeing it with people, but
you're right. It is fun seeing it with
just
other
like
people because then you get
the like, oh, because like you would have missed it because no one else was in the theater, but like when he's hanging and he sticks his bullet hole
bullet hole. Oof.
So he sticks a metal rebar
that's coming off of the thing that he's hanging on
so that he can keep from suffocating to death. And when he did that, everybody in the theater just like,
painful.
So it was kind of fun to be part of that experience. But
I'll tell you, like, the last couple of movies I've seen with barely anybody in the movie theater, and it's been kind of awesome because then you're not dealing with people looking at their phone or beeping.
That's true.
Or
talking
or
in the middle of the movie.
It was a small theater and I sat in it and I was like, man, I'm the only person. So I don't honestly know how well this is going to do. It has gotten a phenomenal Rotten Tomatoes score. Like the Rotten Tomatoes score on this movie is so dang high. And the audience and the critics like it and that's rare. You don't often have a movie where the audience and the critics like the the same thing. So the
Why do you think the critics like it? Because it shows some boss like
I don't.
girl
The
boss,
critics are always
girl boss
so
moments.
yeah. It's got its girl boss moments, but there's nothing wrong with it. The way it's natural. It's
Yeah,
normal. I mean um the so the tomato meter is 94% for the critics,
audience. Yeah,
and then
or critics.
80
Oh,
and it's
okay.
89% for the audience. So it's actually the critics are higher on this than the audience.
Yeah,
Which is a movie like this, you would think, well, and maybe audiences are just not used to the kind of the campy
the
deaths.
artsiness, the kind of
It,
artsiness of it. I don't know.
because I mean, it's made by a foreign director. Nobody in it is a American actor.
Mhm.
Like I said, the guy who plays the SS officer, there's a movie on Netflix called The Trip, and it's a Finnish film. It's about
Oh,
a man and a wife that go to a cabin to kill each other. It's like dark
ew.
comedy.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a dark comedy, but they go to the cabin to kill each other. In fact, there's people in the cabin, uh criminals who capture them, and they have to fight the criminals in order to stay alive and help each.
Anyway,
It's a crazy movie. But anyway, the guy in that, that's the only other actor that I've seen in anything else. And
right.
I don't often watch foreign films, but occasionally do. And he's in a ton of foreign stuff, so he's kind of a well-known Finnish actor.
Mhm.
But the SS officer has the most lines. Him and his underlings have the most lines.
Yeah. Or
Um,
they're talking to each other.
yeah, where they're
Yeah.
talking to each other. So, and then the women have the main woman has a lot of lines, and that's it. That's pretty much. It's pretty
Most of the
much plays
talking.
like a silent movie. It's really well done because it's all visual storytelling, and that is like the best way to watch a movie. Is it visually? So when he's touching his ring, you know that he's got a past. You know something dark has happened in his past. You know from just the SS officers, they're dirty and grimy and they all have scars and stuff like that. So you know that these guys have been through shit. The Nazis. The women are all grimy and dirty too. So you know that their Nazis have been doing horrible things to these women. And that's all the characters that you got. Those are the only
Yeah.
characters you have. And
Yeah.
so
I was trying to look up its budget, but it's in some foreign currency.
the
So
Finnish, probably
the
the Finnish currency.
yeah,
Something.
and so you can't like it's hard to say like what the budget was for it.
Yeah.
But it's
The
like
tank
it's
the
like
tank
six
alone.
something.
Yeah, the tank alone was probably cost a fortune. I
Yeah,
would
I mean
probably
they
a
rent it
couple million.
from
Well, they
from
rented it,
the
but that's
from the
but that the tank is in most of the movie. Like you
yeah.
see the tank more than almost anything else.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That was
But
probably yeah, a good portion of the budget. But
what do you think about the idea of this being kind of the embodiment of the virtuous monster?
yeah, because I mean he's just doing his thing. He's like going out there, he's trying to get gold. Um and he's kind of obsessed with the gold, which I think kind of lends to maybe some other storyline, possibly. Maybe he really is like his kids are starving somewhere and he really is like really needs that money. And
To take care of them.
because I mean this is World War II, Europe, like we're talking everybody was struggling and people were starving and
Yeah.
it was rough times. So like I mean maybe that's why maybe
Or do you think it's a representation of, something higher? Maybe the gold just represents that. You know,
Maybe.
as like a more of a metaphorical sense, because when he first finds the gold, like gold doesn't act, gold reflects light, but
He
it does,
cries.
yeah, he cries. He has
Yeah.
this emotional,
This,
yeah.
yeah, which is kind of like, okay. Like
But what if
maybe
the
he's
gold is
obsessed with it.
what if the gold is a representation of family, of the highest, greatest good?
Maybe. Uh
Because
and
he does anything to retrieve it, to get it back, like without fail. Now, we are probably putting more on this movie than it needs, but the emotional reaction that he has, and it's the only time you see him cry in the entire movie,
yeah,
and it's at the very beginning. Like he
yeah.
finds the gold. He's been struggling to find the gold for what can one can only imagine is several years.
How long we we don't, well, they probably would have shown seasons if it
Yeah.
was years, I would think.
Well,
Um
or
like
or
cold
months,
and stuff.
but what I'm trying to get at is he has a visceral emotional reaction to finding it. Now, what does that mean? That means maybe you're right. Maybe he's doing it for a family that's back in his home country. Who knows?
Uh,
It feels kind of like there's more to it than what we're seeing.
it might be a revenge thing. Like okay, so his family all died. He killed those that were responsible and then just checks out and he's like, I've never been rich. I'm going to just go find gold. Right? Like
Maybe, yeah.
um
Maybe
and
this is like
that
I'm
obsession had something to do with uh uh like, no, my family's all dead. I'm going to have what I want. And that's it. And he probably, yeah, you could be right. He might have been there years where, and which would elicit that kind of emotional reaction. I've been here
yeah,
years trying
trying to
to find gold, and then all of a sudden here it is, and a
yeah.
lot of it. um uh so yeah, anyway, the virtuous monster, I think the only way that, or the best way that is kind of portrayed a little bit, is in the sense that
Well, when he hands
um
the guns to all the women,
when he
that's a
hands the
perfect
guns to the women, that's like
it's like
probably the best.
representation
uh
of it, because it's like, okay, I'm giving you a hand up. I have this ability to destroy Nazis, because this is
well,
what
and
this.
it could be seen that it was just they could help him with what he's trying to accomplish, which is to kill all the Nazis. And then I think, and we kind of mentioned this before, but I think that's why it would have been nice to actually have seen him have a chance to take the gold and run and leave.
Yeah.
But the fact that they killed his horse, they were obviously doing bad things to these women, like
Mm-hmm.
all these things, and they wanted to kill him and tried to kill him and left him for dead and all these things, right? I kind of feel like it would have been nice to just have that moment where he's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I've got this gold, but I think I'm going to kill all of you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have
Well,
been kind of cool.
but
But
it's kind of interesting because there's that moment where that this one guy, the second in command,
mhm,
had been mistreating these women. He's
yeah,
obviously been raping them, because that's how he's
yeah,
introduced. And then he has the chance to kill him, to destroy him. He's beaten the hell out of him, and he goes and he walks away from him.
yeah.
Takes the bike and leaves, and then out of the smoke, the women come walking, and you know exactly what's going to happen.
Mhm,
They come walking, and he knows exactly, because he's abused all of them, and they all
mhm,
then the tables have turned.
yeah,
They all have a gun. They're ready to abuse him, and you
mhm,
actually you don't see them what they do to him, but you see his dead body later. Anyway, but the
Was he dead? No, he wasn't dead.
was he still alive on the tank?
On the tank? I don't think he was dead.
Oh, I thought maybe he was
No,
dead.
I think he was alive.
Huh.
So I guess he
So why
may
would
have
they
not
keep him
gotten his
alive?
comeuppance.
Well, no, because they were torturing him. They did
Yeah.
something to him.
You could hear him screaming.
Yeah, they probably cut off parts of him and all
Probably
sorts of
something. Yeah. So he might not be a fully intact male.
Yeah. He's a eunuch now.
Yeah.
Well, I liked
but
that. I liked that he gave them the chance to get their own revenge on him.
yeah. And that might have not exactly been what he was going for. And I actually thought, I turned to the guy I went and saw it with. I was like, they're gonna run him. The girls are gonna run him over,
With
like
the tank.
because he left.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, the girls are gonna run him over with the truck.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what I thought. I thought because they were driving the trunk back behind.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were gonna just come and just run him over. I was like, that'd be so great. But it was good how they did it too.
Yeah,
they come out of the they had to have that shot with all the girls with all the guns.
With all the guns.
So
that was awesome.
Which is great. It was fun. So I don't know that I think they very heavily leaned on the monster side. I don't know that it was necessarily
very virtue.
Virtue.
If he's after just the gold, right?
As much, which I think is what could have been shown by basically a little scene where he could have walked away, but was like, nah, I'm gonna, free these women and I'm gonna take out all these bad dudes.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it really is very satisfying seeing Nazis get like just destroyed.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to shorthand, right? And I think I've talked about this on the trailer, because the shorthand is they're Nazis, so they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
And we get that that's what it is. And it's awesome because that gives the main character the chance to just destroy them, because we already know just from the visuals of the beginning, we know that these guys are bad. Because the way they're treating the women, the way they're just going around burning villages and stuff like that. I mean, he comes to different villages while he's trying to find a bank to take this gold to, and they're burning. And he's
all burnt.
Yeah. And he has a emotional reaction to that too.
Mm-hmm.
That first village that he comes to and is just burnt, and he's just standing there looking at it going, these guys need to be destroyed.
Yeah. Man, it freaked me out when his dog came up to him, and I knew that they were going to use the dog somehow to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
But his dog comes up to him with a dynamite,
the dynamite on it. Oh,
strapped to it. Gosh, I was just like, oh no. I thought that was when the dog was going to die. I was like, all right, the dog's dead. All the animals are going to die in this show.
All the trailers, though, were saying the dog doesn't die in the trailers.
Oh, really? Who's saying that? Who is spoiling that?
Yeah,
because I thought that was on the table, but apparently, yeah. And I did read some stuff after watching the movie. There was some stuff online, but I thought this would have been after people had already seen it. That the dog does not die.
I'll tell you this. I kind of wish I hadn't, even though the trailer was awesome, I wish I hadn't seen it before the movie, because the trailer actually has almost every good scene in the movie.
It's true.
In the trailer.
But my buddy that I went to see it with hadn't seen a trailer or anything like that.
He probably loved it then.
And he actually he was just like, it was just, I had no idea what I was getting into. And he enjoyed it.
He was pleasantly surprised, huh?
Pleasantly surprised. So, I don't know that I've ever done that. Like gone and seen a movie without seen the trailer before.
I'll usually watch the teaser and then nothing else. If the teaser really grips me, I will not watch anything else, because after the teaser, so there's usually what usually happens is they send out a teaser, then they have a full blown trailer. The teaser is usually like 30 seconds long, and then their full blown trailer is like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. And then a TV spot is usually 30 seconds long. And then the TV spot gets played over and over and over and over again. So I'll watch the teaser and then try not to watch anything else. But the problem with that is that it just doesn't always happen. And in a small movie like this, they basically had 2 trailers. They had the main trailer and then another trailer, TV spot trailer. They didn't really have a teaser. So I wouldn't have known about this without having seen that trailer. But the sad thing is that almost every good scene in the movie is in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's not the best way to, because then I'm expecting everything, right? I was expecting the knife in the head. I was expecting the minefield. The minefield is one of the best scenes in the movie. Like it is, it is really interesting how he gets around.
They do some kind of intense, like kind of scary, like you're just not sure what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? Yeah, but they give a lot of that away in the trailer, and you're going, man, even though the trailer is what got us excited for it, they also gave too much away in the trailer for the movie to be surprising to us.
Yeah. I mean, it's still entertaining and everything, but it just, you're right. Like there was not really anything that was very surprising. And because a lot of it was in the trailer. It's only an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
Like
it's a short movie.
And there's a lot of slow burn in it too. So there's actually, I mean, not a ton of things happen. Like it's good. It paces well and things like that. But I mean, the story is pretty simple. Like
it's pretty much like, I got to get my gold. I got to destroy Nazis.
Yeah. So, I liked how it ended. I thought it ended on a great high note.
Yeah.
That just left a smile on my face and just like, that was
a
great.
lot of fun.
What do you think? Prequels, sequels? You think that?
I think, I don't think it's doing well enough. So Lionsgate,
it's only in certain theaters. So I mean,
it was hard for me to get to it. It was really hard for me to get to it. I had to already be in the city that I was already in to go see it. So
I don't think anybody really expected to get a sequel out of
John Wick.
Sorry, what'd you say?
John Wick.
No, I was thinking Boondock Saints.
Oh yeah.
But it kind of, and not that they should have done a sequel, because let's not get into it. But Boondock Saints basically amassed a cult following.
Yeah.
That kind of cried out for that. And I could see that happening here.
With this.
Like maybe in theaters it does not amazing or anything like that, but I could see a cult following
because of the internet. I wouldn't say there's a lot of cult followings anymore, because what used to be a cult following with a movie is like the movie would come out, not do well in theaters, come out on VHS or DVD, and people would rediscover it.
Yeah.
And then it would just blow up. And that's what happened with the Boondock Saints, right? It didn't do well in theaters. I
don't think they released it in theaters, right?
No, I think it did have a release.
Because I thought it was because of Columbine.
No, what happened is Columbine happened the week before, and nobody wanted to see a movie about vigilantes. And it bombed. It bombed heavy. What ended up happening is that years later, people rediscovered on VHS. This cult following comes around.
Yeah,
people are talking about it. about the same time the internet forums are happening, and that becomes this huge thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can think of something. So Boondock Saints is over 20 years old at this point. So I can't think of anything modern that this is equivalent to. I don't know.
That gained a cult following.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Okay.
After it was
That's
released.
something that gained, and it could just be that cult followings. Yeah.
Well, because
with our day and age.
The internet doesn't. So if something's good when it comes out and people talk a lot about it, then it gains steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea of the cult following, I don't think is really prevalent anymore.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
feels like a movie that was made in Finland that Lionsgate actually got a hold of after the fact.
Yeah.
And this sometimes happens. They don't actually make the movies. They get a hold of the movies after they've been made.
Yeah.
So,
and it may have actually been released in Finland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before.
And I don't know the details on it. I don't know.
I don't know. And I tried looking it up and trying to like get more information and stuff. And it's pretty vague. From what I've been able to find.
Probably because it's not doing that great in theaters. Like the trailer did great. And this happens often.
Most of like all the reviews that I've watched or listened to or looked up
are good.
Have been really good.
Yeah.
So we might see it. More people might go and to our audience, go see it. Like,
go see it. Yeah.
Definitely a man's movie. I mean, not that a woman wouldn't.
Yeah. I wouldn't
appreciate it.
I wouldn't take it.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's you grab the guys and go see it with the guys. Like that's in fact, we were sitting next to a row of
dudes,
bunch of dudes that were all just
having a blast.
Yeah, like they're all just like, yeah. So that's what I would say. And like I said, not to say, but if your girlfriend didn't like John Wick, then she's not gonna probably not gonna like this, even though it is very different. It's
getting compared to John Wick, which is
a lot. Yeah. It is getting compared a lot to John Wick. I think it's a completely different movie, but
I would say it's a mixture between Inglourious Basterds, John Wick, and Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay, yeah,
on a small scale,
right? Yeah.
So, yeah,
Rambo. It was a lot like Rambo. Think about it.
Yeah. Basically,
Rambo: First Blood.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a good movie. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen this year. I would have to say. I really liked Mario Brothers, but it's almost like the simpler the story, the more I like it now. And I used to really like complex stories, really complex stories, so.
Right.
But I'm seeing when movies come out now with complex stories, they usually have something in it that I just kind of detest and hate. So it doesn't make it good for me. I don't know. It's any final thoughts on it?
I really like, and I hope that they keep doing movies where and I'm not saying that women leads can't have this too, but masculine leads that get knocked down and get back up and get knocked down and get back up. I think this is life, right?
Yeah. Metaphor for life,
really. And the part in the plane, I actually, and the girl even mentions it. She says it's not about who is stronger, I think is what she says. It's not about who is stronger. It's about who has more
determination.
More determination, yeah. Right? And the Nazi in the plane fight scene is obviously beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like but he just kind of
he's
keeps
winning.
getting up. He kind of keeps getting up.
And
Like
the Nazi officer keeps going, why won't you just die?
Yeah, just right. And that there was that crazy part where he had the metal clip
That he was beating him with,
and he just like cuts something in his
yeah,
face,
and
it's like a piece of skin. I was just like, oh, dude, brutal.
Well, I think the
Yeah.
Nazis represent your job, your ambition. They represent the thing that you're fighting against through life. So if you take it more as a metaphor, like I was saying before, so the main character, the guy with the gold, is just trying to, and Jordan Peterson talks about this. He says, slay the dragon, get the gold, right?
Yeah. Well, he says get the girl and the gold.
And the girl and the gold. Well, and he does both of those things kind of in this movie.
Not really.
He doesn't get them.
The girls,
he helps them get to a place. But the metaphor for life is that the Nazis represent all the things that are working against you, and you are working really hard to just get through life. You're just trying to do your job. You're just trying to make your family comfortable, and all these things are working against you. Everything's working against you. So it really is just about getting up and continuing on. Just that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And that's why it speaks to dudes, because everybody's in this boat, especially after COVID. Everybody's lives are a little less good, right? We got high inflation right now, and everybody, your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. These challenges that everybody has. This is what this represents, and why it appeals to us is that all we really want to do is get into the bank, drop a bunch of gold on the table, and go, big bills, please.
This shit is too damn heavy.
This shit's too damn heavy. What a great ending to a movie.
Yeah,
right?
it was just, I don't know if that's exactly what he said. It's in
a different language, so it's subtitled.
Close.
He's a Finnish actor. He's never done an English speaking movie. So he probably doesn't even speak English.
Which is probably, and the fact that it wasn't in English, I actually thought was good better, too. Yeah. Like I liked that it was not in English, that he didn't say it in English.
Yeah. So he doesn't speak one word of English. The main character doesn't speak hardly at all, and not one word of English. What a great movie. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So final thoughts for you, I guess.
No, I just thought it was great. Yeah. I think everybody should try to go see it. Don't take a date. Go with the guys. So
vote with your dollar, support it. That's I'm big into voting with your dollar stuff right now.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't blame you. With all the shit that keeps coming out, it's like, we need to expect more.
Yeah, I'm just like, why go see something that's just So that's just, anyway, that's my take. So vote with your dollar, go see it. Maybe they'll give us more of it. What I think would be fun to see is a cult fall, like a cult, it become a cult classic.
Yeah.
And then maybe like Amazon or Netflix to pick up a original film and just do a original film for like a prequel or a sequel. Because I think cool. I would tune in for more.
Yeah, I think I would too. More killing Nazis.
Me,
even though it was the end of the war. But
and that's why a prequel would be
interesting.
Would be kind of interesting. Yeah.
But it's okay the way it ended. I'm not. I'm of the mind that less is more at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, making more actually might not be a good thing. Because the last thing we need is SISU-10
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's what we're getting with John Wick, right? They're going to beat that horse into the ground.
Yeah.
Even though right now it's still kind of awesome. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess
we're in that sweet spot where it's still awesome. That they'll get to a point where
they'll
it's
get to
no
a point
longer
where we're
awesome.
just like, another
Another
one.
one.
Really?
That's where we are with most everything. I
Yeah.
think I'm not excited for Fast and Furious 10. Holy crap.
I'm excited for Mission Impossible though. That looks good.
Yeah, that looks good. So
Strap me in, man.
I'm down.
Yeah, and I haven't kept up with the Fast and the Furiouses, but there was Fast and the Furious 6. Was it 6? I can't remember. My wife and I went and saw it. We actually liked it. So
they're
enjoyed
entertaining, even though they're out there completely far-fetched.
I think it was the first one with Dwayne Johnson, whichever one that was.
5. I think it was 5.
Was that 5?
So,
okay.
Let's wrap this up.
All right.
Well, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. We'll see you, brother.
See you, brother.